Jesus.
Are we doing the test run?
I just want to see the mask. I forgot what it looks like.
I like the defense, Cape's defense, and
Crusader fans. We'll be starting the broadcast in approximately 20 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah, she's supposed to be on the field.
Nadia, do you know how to use the headset microphone? So press down on the side button. Wait a few seconds, it'll go in. Okay, there's a button on the you see the little you see the big. Good evening, Crusader fans. It is T-minus 16 minutes and change till kickoff. Good evening, Crusader fans. Only 15 more minutes until kickoff.
Good evening once again, Crusader fans. T-minus 12 minutes until kickoff. T-minus 11 minutes until kickoff. Just over 10 minutes and 20 seconds until kickoff. Minutes and change left to go. welcome to Cape Mount Carmel, actually Stryker Sports Complex, home of your Cape Mount Carmel Crusaders, who come into the night 1-0, still riding high after last week's victory against South High, which saw the Crusaders score an astounding 7 touchdowns in the 51-0 win in their season opener. Tonight, the Crusaders will be facing off against the East High Blue Aces, led by head coach N.A. Akban. The East High Aces, are going to be looking to get their season back on track after a devastating 49-42 loss Week 1 to Washburn Rule. Bring you tonight's game and the home opener of the Cape Mount Carmel Crusaders season. I'm Gabriel Breidenbach.
And I'm Sophie Jamino. Tonight's going to be a hot one with little wind to cool us down. Despite the heat, it will be interesting how these two teams stack up. Last year, the Crusaders were behind 14-18 heading into the fourth quarter, but ended up winning 27-18, shutting down East offense. It'll be a battle again because of the amount of skilled returners coming from East.
One of those notable carryovers will be number 5 quarterback Deontay Mitchell. With a great sense of what's going on around him, along with the threat he poses with his legs, he's going to be the number 1 priority for KMC's defense tonight.
And speaking of the KMC defense, they put on a clinic against South, only giving up 76 total yards and just 26 rushing yards. Additionally, the front 6 had an exceptional night, putting together 3 sacks and a turnover their last time out. Standout senior linebacker Nathan Fury accounted for 1 of those sacks to go along with 8 other tackles for his incredible season debut.
And another big aspect of this defense is the secondary. I mean, after coming into this season as one of the team's biggest question marks after the absence of Austin Ruda and Isaac Smits, both sophomore Jackson Daniels and senior Jake Beeler have really stepped into their roles and look more like veterans than newcomers.
And now switching over to the offense side of the ball, they were phenomenal last week as well. We saw a wide spread of formation and plays that contributed to the whopping 51 points. Out of the 7 touchdowns scored, 4 of them were earned by running back Amari Elias and tight end Will Ancio.
And zoning in on Ancio, he killed it last week with an outing that saw him haul in 7 receptions for 114 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's almost 16 yards per reception, and the 6'6", 220-pound K-State commit has really entered a league of his own these past 2 years, becoming a top 50 tight end in the nation and being ranked as the 11th best overall player in the state. On the field, Ancio has helped create a KMC passing attack that few teams will be able to contain. Sophomore Dylan Hamilton got a chance to showcase arsenal last week, and Hamilton did a great job of maintaining a sense of poise and control in the pocket while also showing his capability to extend the play and make throws on the run. But of course, you can't talk about this Crusader offense without mentioning the likes of sophomore running back Amari Elias.
Elias started out his season with a performance nothing less than expected. The junior recorded 177 yards over 23 carries and obtained 2 touchdowns while averaging 7.7 yards per carry. There are a lot of high expectations surrounding Elias because of his outstanding season last year. He rushed for a total of 2,140 yards and had 24 touchdowns, which makes up 41% of the team's combined touchdowns. If you think that's phenomenal, wait to see what the man has in store for this season. Elias has been grinding in the weight room all summer and working every day to improve his speed and skill. I can't wait to see what it brings tonight.
And overall, Elias, I mean, a lot of people would think, if you're coming up against Cape Mount Carmel, you might just stack the box, absolutely eliminate their rush attack, but that's not going to work against Elias. We saw teams try to do that every game last year, and none of them saw any success.
And so now we are going to step aside for the national anthem.
By the dawn's early rise, what so proudly we hailed as the twilight flash gleamed, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red there, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave. O'er the land of the free and the home of the
Welcome back. And Sophia, tonight has been a night that I've been looking forward to for a couple months now. And I know the East High and Cape and Mount Carmel football teams are feeling the same way. I mean, last year, one of the most exciting games of the season came in week 2 when Cape went to South High School to play East. And, I mean, what is there to say except that was just exceptional football from both sides?
Yeah, it was really a crazy game. Like I mentioned earlier, Cape being down heading into the fourth quarter, and really East just came out as a shock to the Crusaders last year. With using their speed and just diverse plays, it really was a shocker for KMC's defense. And now I think the Crusaders will have a better idea of what to expect, but it's going to be a close one. I really believe both teams are going to bring their all.
And another big thing is the KMC student section. I know they came back last year after a year of absence, but this one has really been tremendous, especially last week. I mean, those kids had to drive 20, 25 minutes to get out there, but I think they had one of the best attendance records I've seen in a long time.
I would definitely agree, and we have some great leadership there for SLU, Student Leadership Union. Coyd Oliver heading that, and he's done a great job of just getting everyone out to the games, and it's great to show that team spirit. And as well as Cape's student section, looks like East has a little bit of one over there too. Looks like they're cowboy theme, Western or whatever, so they'll bring some hype too for East.
And, you know, a big thing about this East High team is that they don't have a home field. I mean, I know Cape doesn't play at their high school either, but at least they have Stryker. East doesn't have that. They have to be a traveling team, and so every game for them is an away game, so their fans are more than comfortable making the drive out to Stryker tonight. And now for the coin toss, we'll see what happens here. Representing Cape and for the captains will
come up and do it.
Kickoff for the Crusaders, the 14-safety toss. Back to return to the Blue Aces, Miguel Leak and Isaiah Graham.
has been used to seeing all sorts of different types of defense. The blockers on Capit's team are exceptional, and they do a great job of creating a path for Elias.
And I know the audio kind of cut out there a bit. We'll kind of recap what we were just talking about. So, East High's defense. They come out in a lot of strange formations. That's for their offense, too, but particularly zoning on their defense, I mean, one of the most common formations is the 6-2. And you're hearing me say that right, a 6-2. 5 defensive linemen and a linebacker on the line of scrimmage. And a linebacker on the line of scrimmage. And with 2 linebackers still in that mid-range area as the kickoff is away. Now muffed in the end zone, recovered, and now it's taken out. Just finds some room. It's going to be brought out to about the 14-yard line before it being fumbled.
It's a fumble.
And let's see what the referee says. They're going to say he was down.
Good effort there, though, by Austin Howard, the sophomore, being able to get that tackle.
Isaiah
Or,
Graham.
excuse me, that was Trip Wright.
Trip right with a tackle. Isaiah Graham's that return man for East. And now East first drive on the play. And as we talked about in the pregame, Deontay Mitchell, going to be the biggest person here for East High. I mean, first-time quarterback, has that dual threat capability, but the biggest thing is his arm. He has a great arm, threw for almost 1,900 yards last season. And so he's going to be the main playmaker for East tonight. But the other thing is East has speed. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I know you talked about with their defensive backs. They are just one of the deadliest in the state.
They have a lot of speed. You know, the East Aces last year, the 4x1 relay, they won. One of the main players there was Toby Asomni, who was on the football team.
And now a tough run here by Leak. He's going to fight forward for a nice, solid game, about 8. And now Charlie Chrisman comes off the field, a little shaken up. So it looks like Maxwell Keller will come in. Reminder, Capon is going with the 4-2-5. And so Charlie Chrisman, a key part of that lineup as he comes in as a nickelback on almost every play. So that's going to be a key loss for Capon. Maxwell Keller is going to be coming in. Looks like he's going to slide in as a safety. We're going to have Jake Beeler slide down to that nickelback position. I formation for East as Deontay Mitchell under center takes the snap. Hands it off to Leak once again. He finds the outside. He's going to be taken down. Jackson Daniel, first one there. Cookie followed up by Austin Howard.
And Leak, another one of those players for East that's going to be contributing a lot to this game. Just a sophomore, but really skilled player, pretty fast. Not too big of a guy, but knows how to read the gaps and get upfield.
Leak, like Mitchell, is a veteran on this team. I mean, he had the second most yardage on East last year as penalty flags thrown. Looks like it might be a false start. And indeed it is. False start on East. Now moving back 5 yards. Be 1st and 15 at the East 37-yard line. Or no, excuse me, 32-yard line.
Just one of those silly mistakes a lot of teams beginning the season make. Still trying to get timing and cadence and all that down.
Now once again, trips on this near sideline. One receiver split out wide on the far end. Leak accompanying Mitchell in the backfield. Now Leak gets the handoff once again, finds some space, and he'll get a solid pickup of about 10.
And that's one of those tricky formations Coach Peabody was talking about. Having 4 receivers out and then them deciding to run the ball. As soon as Leak sees that gap, it's easier as there's not as much coverage.
And I think you're noticing here, I mean, East offensive line isn't that big, yet they're very agile and making great holes for Leak, who again pushes forward for about 7 yards in the first. And so, I mean, yeah, like I said, they aren't bringing the most muscle to the table, but they're doing a great job of being agile as well as, great footwork from what I've seen on this near side. But I'm excited to see what they're going to be able to do here tonight.
Yeah, they've definitely been coached well this summer, making sure they do exactly what they're supposed to do, block down, block up.
Now here comes Deontay Mitchell, and there's flags thrown. false start by East. Once again, pushing back for a 1st and 15 at their own 44-yard line. And so if you're caping here, I mean, already had one opportunity for a 1st and 15. They've got to step up here.
They need to capitalize. The defense having 2 opportunities with these penalties to capitalize, and
they're really
first
biting.
and 15, yeah, like
Sorry
you
to
said.
interrupt you, but
No,
they're
you're
really
good.
biting on Deontay Mitchell's hard count here. But here we go. Once again, trips on his near sideline, 1 receiver split out wide. Deontay Mitchell drops back, looks to that far sideline, has a man. That is Marcus White. He's tackled early, though, only for a gain of about 3. That brings up 2nd and 12.
Ben Zalidicki running off the field. You always see him running off, hustling. Great guy. He's a senior leader for this team on the defensive and offensive line.
And he's a big part of that offensive line, especially. I mean, this is an entirely new offensive line for Capon this year. He had an all-senior line last year, so Zalidicki's a key component because, you know, anytime one of the guys, you know, is maybe staggering or maybe isn't performing well enough, Zalidicki's right there to fill in. Now, once again, Deontay Mitchell rolling out left, has blockers. Throw going to be incomplete. Intended for Ashton White. And another thing you're going to notice about this East High offense is that they don't have a true tight end, which is not heard of, but it's pretty uncommon in modern football. Ashton White is listed as their only true tight end, yet he's split out almost every single play.
Yeah, and he's not really such a big guy, and so, like you said, he's always out there. More of a wide receiver, just with the title of tight end.
And now it looks like timeout going to be called by East High. 3rd and 12 when they come back at their own 47-yard line. And like we said, I mean, Capon doing a great job of capitalizing on this opportunity they were given. Already, you know, gave up that opportunity earlier on in the drive when they had a 1st and 15. Or East had a 1st and 15, excuse me. But, you know, moving forward, I think they're going to, you know, that was more of a wake-up call. But like I said earlier, you know, stop East early, the game's almost yours.
Yeah, and exactly. The Capon Crusaders just need to, good thing they're learning now in the first quarter rather than at the end of the game making these mistakes. They just got to slowly learn, and it's, you know, beginning of the season to recognize things and capitalize on opportunities.
Now for 3rd and 12, Mitchell will be in the gun. And here we go. Mitchell drops back, looks downfield, and is sacked by a slew of Capon defenders. But it looks like Nathan Fury was the first one there. He might have got a little bit of the face mask. This could turn the whole drive around for East High.
Yeah.
Let's see what the referee says.
Deontay Mitchell's helmet coming off there.
Still a great play there by the whole Capon defensive line to collapse the pocket. Be a shame if this got called back. I mean, you see the look on the Capon defense right now. And yes, the referee already taking the ball upfield.
Personal foul. Illegal to the hand. Hands to the face. Before the defense. Still throw down.
So it looks like there's going to be illegal hands to the face on the defense. And it will still be 3rd down, but it will be a much more manageable 3rd and 3.
And Capon fans not really happy with this call. It was kind of tough to see there, but obviously his helmet did come off, so there was some good contact there.
Now hand off to Leak. He finds a hole and gets more. Kyle Kea eventually able to bring him down there. And Kyle Kea, one of the 3 sophomores starting on this defense. And not something you entirely see. I mean, you know, not unheard of. Nathan Fury and Will Antio, of course, starting their sophomore years.
And Kyle Kea, yeah, a younger guy. He's mostly known, really good basketball player, and kind of new to the whole football thing. Didn't see much of him last year, and so he's doing a great job stepping up.
But you know, those lengthy, you know, power forward centers that are seen on the Capon basketball floor make great defensive ends, as that is Marcus White, who takes it into the end zone for a 31-yard touchdown, flag down. That looks like it's going to be something on Dominic Shibley, the corner. We'll see what the referee says.
Not a great turn of events here for Capon's defense. The hands to the face and then just letting that go there. But we'll see what the refs have to say.
Cape and defense still out there. So we'll see. Referees are discussing. I mean, that was the only thing that really caught my eye in that play is, Dominic had a little bit of an awkward, Shibley had a little bit of an awkward angle on that. Maybe caught a little bit of the face mask, but we'll see. As
Still waiting for the call here.
And now from the white cap. Looks like it will be a touchdown.
Throwing on the field. Push for the foul. Face mask.
Yes.
Number 3, the defense.
Face mask on Dominic Shibley. The play will stand.
Play the touchdown.
And East High will have the first score of the game. Touchdown. Deontay Mitchell to Marcus White for 31 yards. And not exactly what you want if you're the Cape and defense.
Not at all. They had some opportunities with those penalties, as we mentioned earlier, to get that stop and then get the ball in their hands.
And now Deontay Mitchell for the 2-point conversion hands off to Leak. And Leak gets in. And now the East High Aces jump out to an 8-0 lead. Sorry, I didn't realize they were going for 2 there.
And not something Cape's defense is really used to seeing those field goals. And the defensive line is going to have to step it up. Leak is doing a great job of shooting the gaps. And defense is really just going to need to read where he's going.
One big thing is, both the defensive line and the linebackers are going to have to find a way to get around that offensive line. As we mentioned, I mean, they're not the biggest out there, but they are doing a great job with their agility, making themselves look bigger. I mean, you can make a 5-man front look like an almost 10-man front if you have agile enough players. And so it's just going to be about getting around that defensive line or even potentially getting through that defensive line right down the middle. Because, I mean, Leak, on almost every play, I mean, he had that one where he bounced to the outside and found some space, but almost every single run Leak has had has gone right up the middle. And Capen just can't allow themselves to get, the ball run down their throat.
Yeah, they really need to communicate there on the middle linebackers with the front line there, just recognizing where he's at. And it really is hard just because of the spread East offense takes. But something they need to figure out here. Capen has the ball on offense.
And now Porter Blanton, number 40 for East High, will be kicking off. And with Charlie Crispin still on the sideline, it looks like Dominic Shibley will be taking the kickoff for Cape Mount Carmel.
We also have Noah Schreck, number 21, and Jackson Daniels. Jackson Daniels.
They're all good.
Back there too. Both of them sophomores.
And now, here comes Porter Blanton, gets the referee's signal. And here we go. High kick deep into the end zone. And that'll be out of the back, and that'll bring the ball out to the 20-yard line for 1st and 10. And facing an 8-0 deficit, we'll see the Capen offense for the first time here tonight. And, of course, Dylan Hamilton, the leader on that team. Hamilton, of course, having 183 yards and 2 touchdowns last week. Both of those touchdowns coming from Will Ancio.
And Hamilton, a little bit more experienced now. He's a junior, more comfortable. Last year thrown into the role of quarterback just as a sophomore. But he's really developed as a player.
Now Mario Wise takes one down the middle. And that run will be good for about 3 yards.
Gain of about 3 or 4 yards on the play.
Never mind, that's going to be 2nd and 6 now for the Crusaders. And that's one thing about Capen. As we talked about with East, I mean, they're a run-and-gun type offense. They're going to keep you on your heels 24/7. But, Capen isn't that way. I mean, they're going to hold on to the ball as long as possible. They're a very methodical team, and it works for them. I mean, as we saw last week, 51-0 against South High. I mean, minus a few turnovers, I mean, Capen wasn't stopped.
Yes.
Now another carry, this time from Henry Crispin, gets the Crusaders the first down.
And Henry Crispin was being used a little bit last year, but a few injuries kept him on the sideline. He's a really strong dude, not the biggest height, but kind of like a Will Doolittle for Capen's offense here.
Now 1st and 10 from the 31. Hamilton hands off to Elias. Elias finds some room, finds through some tackles, and gets to about the 38-yard line before being brought down for a gain of never mind. Gets to 39. 2nd and 2 now for KMC. Now a little bit of a change of formation. Will Antiel going to be all by himself on this near sideline with Will Thingvall and Maxwell Keller on that far sideline. Maxwell Keller, another new addition to the starting lineup. Saw some action last year, mostly on the defensive side of the ball. But with his height, he's going to be a great addition to the receiving corps. Now Will Antiel going to be brought down. That tackle made by number 16, Amari Wisdom.
And Antiel, they're getting the first down. And, you know, going back to Max Keller, he's really just an athletic guy, someone you like to have on the field, knows what's going on, and knows how to make good plays.
Now another Harry from Henry Crispin. Finds a hole and gets up to about the 49 before getting brought down. Now 2nd and 4. And KMC, of course, known for this I formation. Antiel, of course, splitting out every once in a while. But this is their, you know, bread and butter. As another Amari Elias carry doesn't get as much yardage here. And this will be about a 3-yard game. Brings up 3rd and 1.
The main thing for Coach Sharks is just slowly making progress. As you hinted at earlier, just using the clock to the Crusaders' advantage. And as long as they're making just a little bit progress each play, that'll work.
And now, Dylan Hamilton hands off to Amari Elias. Amari Elias finds a hole, gets more than enough for the first down. Spins is eventually brought down by a whole slew of East High defenders. It looks like Deontay Standifer going to be the first one there. And now the Crusaders at their opponent's 42-yard line for 1st and 10. Out of the gun, Dylan Hamilton finds it. Drops back, finds Will Antiel. Will Antiel goes up for it. That's going to be overthrown. Antiel could have had a big play there. And, you know, something that really stuck out to me about last week's game, Hamilton with a 40-yard bomb. I mean, he could have hit a needle in a haystack with that ball. I mean, it was a tight spiral,
Yeah, it was
perfect
insane.
lob.
It was a great pass.
And, I mean, I know you can't see it right now, but if you could, you'd be right there with me in that assumption, or that recounting.
Yeah, and another thing, though, is just East's defense being a little more skilled than South's, as you can tell. And so that's just something that Dylan or Hamilton has to take into consideration as the defense is playing his receivers tighter.
And now for 3rd and 8, Hamilton's going to stay in the gun. Drops back, looks at his near sideline, has Antiel, but that is tipped at the line of scrimmage. That'll be incomplete. And now a 4th and 8 for Cape Mount Carmel. Let's see what coach decides to do here. They are in pooch punt territory, but it might be in the best interest of Cape Mount Carmel. Just, you know, go for it.
Yeah, and Sharts he's a guy who likes to take chances. You know, Crusaders down by 8, but still wanting to get that momentum going.
And play action pass. Hamilton stumbles, finds Maxwell Keller. Nice little sideline catch, gets the toe tap in, and that's going to be good enough for a 1st down.
Great job there. Great footwork by Max Keller. And, you know, Hamilton stumbling in the back, must have tripped over his own feet, but way to recover, had pressure coming at him, but great pass there.
And there's that athlete, Maxwell Keller, we were talking about earlier, for the 14-yard reception on the 1st down. Now 1st and 10 at the East High 26-yard line. Coming on the I formation with Will Thingvall out on this near sideline. It looks like false start's going to be called just before the snap. Now I'll push the Crusaders back 5. And, you know, we talked about the Crusaders trying to capitalize on East High's mistakes. They're going to want to limit their own. And penalties are going to be a big thing. 9 penalties for Cape Mount Carmel last week, totaling it over 110 yards in penalties. That's just something that's unacceptable for the Cape and offense. And now Amari Elias finds some room, bounces to the outside, gets forward for about a gain of 4 before being brought down.
And penalties are something that you should never, depending on who you're playing, if they're a good team and a bad team, it's something that's in your power to control. And you're right, they definitely need to limit those.
Demetrius Manuel on that last tackle, and now Hamilton looks down the middle, finds Antiel, but flag's going to be thrown. Will Antiel wide open in the end zone there. And that is a very late false start, excuse me. I don't want to say false call.
Yeah,
You gotta respect the referees
Yeah,
there.
remember the
Sorry for my mispronunciation there. But anyway, yeah, it's going to be another false start for Cape Mount Carmel. That pushes about to 2nd and 17. But, you know, that's one of Chargers' little sneaky plays there, as I like to call him. He loves to send that tight end on that, you know, tight end who's not out wide, just kept in there. He loves to send him on a nice little fly route. And now Hamilton drops back once again, rolls out, tries to get it away. He finds a man. That's Will Ancio. That's going to be good for about a gain of 2.
Gaining a few yards there, but good job by Hamilton getting rid of the ball, or else he would have lost quite a few yards there.
And now 3rd and 15. I mean, if you're Cape Mount Carmel, you're not looking for the whole 15 right here. You're just looking to get a couple good plays in sequence. And now Dylan Hamilton he throws, and now will be incomplete, intended for Henry Crispin, the fullback. Now 4th and 15.
And East defensive line bringing in a lot of pressure to Hamilton here. Kind of hard there, as you know, not last year Crusaders didn't throw as much. Towards the end they did, but something different. The offensive line is really going to have to work on is just holding the defense away for as long as possible so Hamilton has time to get rid of the ball.
And now Hamilton in the gun. Has 2 receivers on the far, 1 on the near. Looks well, Ancio's way on this near sideline. Ancio right through his hands. And that'll be a drop pass, his first of the season. Flags thrown at the line of scrimmage. See what the referee says. Potential roughing the passer. And if you're Will Ancio, you're going to want that one back for the rest of the night. And indeed, roughing the passer saves Capon here.
So
Automatic first down as well.
Capon getting that second chance. They need to score here. 2:48 left in the first quarter. Have plenty of time, and they're this close to the end zone, but can't make any more mistakes and need to execute.
And now we see Dylan Hamilton hit off the field, and Jackson Daniels, the sophomore, number 1 on your screen, coming in. He's going to be in the backfield, accompanied by 3 running backs. Number 4 on your screen is Nathan Fury, 45, Mario Elias, number 8, Henry Crispin. And now Daniels going to keep it on the QB draw, and that's not going to really work. As that's going to be no gain on the play. 2nd and 10.
Good idea there by Sharks trying to change things up, throw East defense off guard. But they seem ready for it, know that Daniels is a running QB.
And now Hamilton comes back on. Hands off to Mario Elias. Mario Elias has a big hole up the middle. Nice little spin move, gets him an extra couple yards. And this will be 2nd and short. No, 3rd and short, sorry. Only 1 yard to go for Cape Mount Carmel at East 7-yard line.
Brings up 3rd and 1 for the Crusaders.
And now, first time within the 10. Mario Elias gets the handoff, pushes forward for about a gain of 3. Enough for the first down. It'll be 1st and goal for KMC.
Mario Elias with the carry. Gain of 7. Brings up 1st and goal for the Crusaders.
From the 4-yard line, Capon going to stick with their I formation. Will Ancio kept in with 2 receivers on that far sideline. Hand off to Henry Crispin. Good enough for maybe a yard.
Slowly working their way towards that line.
Ref's going to give him 2 on this play. So now it'll be 2nd and 2. At the 2. In need of 2 yards. Looks like Crusaders are going to stick with the I formation. Hamilton under center. Hands off to Mario Elias. Mario Elias sneaks into the end zone for the touchdown. And now the real question comes in. Are the Crusaders going to go for 2 or stick with the PAT?
A really up and down drive there. A lot of penalties. Different things, just, you know, unable to connect with the passes. But good job for the Crusaders working hard to get that touchdown.
And they are indeed going to go for 2 here. Hamilton in the gun. Rolls out. Looks over at Hines. Henry Crispin for the 2-point conversion. Nice little almost Tim Tebow-esque pass there.
perfect little play there designed by Shards. Having the fullback just do a little quick out route. Great job there to get the 2-point conversion.
And now, for East High, looks like they're going to regroup before the kickoff. But overall, solid drive there, 80 yards. Took up almost the rest of the time in the first quarter, only 1:07 remaining. And from the Capen offense, that's the perfect response. You know, maybe not the way Capen wanted to start on defense, but offense doing a great job picking themselves up, making sure to take it one play at a time, and getting it into the end zone for 8 points.
Yeah, and defense should be happy with it. The playing field is even now, score tied, and now defense has an opportunity to help the offense out, get a stop here, and I would be very surprised if East tries to score in this minute left, but all Capen's defense has to hope for is just to be solid and contain him.
And, you know, going back to what we said on the first offensive drive for East, you've got to stop the Aces early. I mean, you know, another, you know, maybe opposing opinion is that you just keep scoring the ball on offense, you know, blow for blow, because Capen will, of course, receive the ball to start off the second half, but it's best if you stop them on defense, make sure to give your offense a little bit of breathing room.
Exactly.
And now Chase DuPont, the new kicker for Cape Mount Carmel, sends it away, and that will be recovered by Leak after it hits the turf. Now Leak in trouble, finds Nathan Fury at the 15-yard line, and that's where he will stop.
And Leak there making a lot of lateral progress instead of upfield, and so caused not the greatest field position for the Aces to start off with.
And now, here come the Aces once again. And this seems like their true formation here, coming out in the trips to the far sideline, one receiver on this near sideline, and of course, Ravel Leak in the backfield with Deontay Mitchell. Now Mitchell hands off to Leak. Leak breaks one tackle, gets to the second level, and eventually brought down by Jackson Daniels. Sets up the Aces for a 2nd and 4.
And the job here by, you know, the corners and safeties is they need to recognize right away if it's going to be a run, and that way they can collapse and help that defensive line out.
And now Mitchell in the backfield, and take it from the gun. Drops back, surveys the field, in trouble, finds a lane up the middle, and breaks a few tackles before being brought down after the first down marker. However, flag in the backfield.
It looks like
Jake Bueller.
Slow to get up.
But it looks like he's going to be okay. Maybe just a little bit shaken up there. And now Sam Bezdek heads off the field, excuse me.
And quick update on Charlie Crispin, who went out on the first play of the game. He has ice on his left shoulder. Hopefully nothing too serious, and doesn't look like he'll be back to this game, but hopefully next.
And now here he comes. East High offense once again back onto the field after the holding penalty. That pushes them back to 2nd and 13. Once again, trips this near sideline now with one receiver on that far sideline. Mitchell drops back, fakes the play action, has what looks to be White. And White going to get past the first down mark for a nice game, about 15. As that will bring us to the end. Oh, no, excuse me.
See, 1 second left.
1 second remaining in the first quarter of play. And that will end it.
That's the end of the first quarter. Score is 8-8, and East has the ball.
And of course, the score is still tied up at 8-8. And what we've seen so far, East, of course, as we've said, keep going to emphasize this point. They're fast, and they're coming out of the gates hot. Capen, you know, Not saying they're not coming out of the gates hot, but they're coming into the game with a lot more methodical, slow-paced approach, taking it one play at a time. And we saw it work on the last possessions drive. It's still interesting to see if that's going to work. I mean, the defense is going to have to step up regardless if Capon wants to win.
And it's also just an adjustment. Always coming off a big win, 51-0. Competition wasn't as great as East is tonight, and so the Crusaders just having to adjust. They've been playing themselves in practice, but getting to see a solid team like East with a lot of energy. They just bring a ton of energy, the East Aces. And like you said, an adjustment for Capon's defense. But better now, you know, second game, learn those adjustments, you know, not even close to playoff time, just slowly getting better and working as a team.
And now back to the field for 1st and 10 at the East High 30-yard line as the Aces break the huddle in a second here. As Mitchell's still talking over those players. No play clock here to start off the quarter. So you got plenty of time. And now, here we go. East High approaching the line of scrimmage. Will Ancio here on this near side at defensive end. Something he played a lot of last year, but it looks like Sharks just keeping him on the offensive side for the most part. Let's see what he can do on the defensive side of the ball. East regrouping after a whistle from the ref. And looks like we had some technical difficulties, but now we're all good. This, of course, being the game of the week for Kansas, as a Rebel Leak carry goes absolutely nowhere.
Great play there by the defense. Finally able to get a stop on the run, close those gaps.
Austin Howard, the first one there for the loss of 1. 2nd and 11 now. And I think the big reason on that play is Will Ancio, of course, being a little bit lengthier, doing a great job, as I said earlier, getting around the offensive line, beating them off the snap. And now Mitchell takes it, drops back, in trouble, looks up the middle, finds Sam Bezic, throws through the tackle. And finds White.
So a gain of about 4 there. 3, looks like 3. Yeah, it's 3rd and 7 now. Good job there, though, by Mitchell, able to find the open guy. Could have ended badly with the amount of pressure Capon's defense brought to him.
And almost incredible there, the way Mitchell was able to keep his composure even with a Capon defender dragging him down. He did a great job of keeping his shoulders square. Didn't even need his legs to be square to complete that throw. But let's see what he does now. 3rd and 7 for the East High Aces at their own 33-yard line. Score still 8-8. Now Mitchell looks down his near sideline, has White. That is caught.
Amazing
One
catch by
incredible catch.
Marcus White in.
We saw him earlier in the game. That's his 4th reception. But
nice little jump there. And, you know, speaking of jumping, he was a medalist in the hurdles last year at state. So really just athletic guy. Athletic and skilled dude.
And roughing the passer called. And it is declined by East High, something that doesn't make a lot of sense to me since it should be. Yeah, there we go. I was going to say, it doesn't make much sense to decline that. It should be added to the end of the play, and
yeah,
it will
there,
be.
There we go. Now
and so that turns into a monster, almost 45-yard play for East High. They will now be at the KMC 21-yard line for 1st and 10.
I was just going back to that catch, Gabe. Amazing job.
Just great awareness there to, turn back around, catch that ball, and then get it. And, he almost, he almost never even had to think about it. He had his feet down regardless. And now, great play by the Capon defensive line here. That'll be a loss of 2 on the run. 2nd and 10
And
Now 2nd and 12. And you know, Sophia, as much as I would like to applaud that, and I do applaud that point, not saying I don't, but one thing I get worried about is as much as East High has been forced to pass this game, every single time it's been almost a great outcome.
Yeah, and it's something, as we mentioned earlier, a lot of the guys, seniors last year, were the defensive backs, corners, and safeties.
And now, Ashton White
let's see what happens here.
able to shimmy his way past the first down marker, and there it is again. I mean, yes, the Cape defensive line doing a great job, as we said, getting past the offensive line of East and getting those tackles in the backfield. But, you know, if the run game isn't working, East High is going to have to resort to the passing attack, and the passing attack has been a lot more fruitful than the rushing attack.
As I was saying, we got a lot of new guys in the back for Capen, and just some adjustments they need to bring. Not seeing a lot of passing yet this year, and so it's a learning experience.
Yeah, and the only person held over in that Capen secondary from last year is, of course, Dominic Shibley, the number 2 cornerback for Capen in the playoffs. And of course, because Nathan Dengvall, initially a starter on that 2021 team, was injured in the first game against South. Now Rayville Leak bounces to the outside, sneaks into the end zone for another touchdown for East High. That brings it now to 14-8.
And Leak, doing a great job there. Little sidestep to avoid the defender and run it in for the touchdown.
7 yards out.
And now East once again looking like they're going to go for 2 here. As they bring on Landis Smith, listed as the backup quarterback for East High, but looks like he's going to come on now as a running back, along with Rayville Leak in the backfield. And now, Deontay Mitchell takes a snap, looks, can't find anybody, lunged it in for himself. Took advantage there to the linebackers. You know, they took a little extra step back there trying to cover over the middle, and, you know, Mitchell again recognizing that and taking advantage of that, finding a hole up the middle.
Great field vision and recognition there by Deontay Mitchell, and he's really been doing a great job this game as quarterback. Can see the field really well, finds his receivers, can run the ball. It's really just dual threat quarterback. It's going to be tough for the Crusaders.
And now East once again up by 8. Now scores 16-8. And if you're Cape Mount Carmel, you have the capability to take up the rest of the first half. I mean, only 9:35 remaining, and you know, you might be sitting at home thinking, why is he saying only 9:35 remaining? But Capen's drives take an average of 6, 7, even upwards of 10 minutes. And so Capen has the capability to take up the rest of the first half here, and that might be in their best interest. I mean, if they're able to simultaneously take up the rest of the first half and score a touchdown, of course, counting for the 2-point conversion, if they head into the halftime tied up, that's almost a win. I mean, as I mentioned, you know, start off the game, East High comes out of the gate very hot, but they also expend themselves rather early. I mean, now I'm not saying they're going to be completely dead in the second half.
Exactly.
But, I mean, they're going to have to expend themselves at some point. I mean, Deontay Mitchell can't, you know, be playing at a high level every single snap of the game, and Rayville Leak's going to get tired eventually. I mean, both the White brothers, Ashton and Marcus, are going to get tired eventually for East High. So eventually, they're going to run out of energy. And so, I mean, if Capen heads into the half tied up, I mean, that's almost a victory for them.
Yeah, and them getting the ball back gives them an opportunity to score, get that lead. You know, hypothetically, if everything goes right.
And now Schreck. Sorry to interrupt you there, but Schreck, you know, after
great job by the sophomore.
You know, Porter Blanton's kick from East High, you know, a little bit high, fielded short there by Schreck, and he's able to find a hole up the middle of the field and brings that out to 37 before being brought down. And, you know, as we talked about earlier, that shortens the field a little bit there, which also shortens the amount of time Capen's going to be able to expend.
And, you know, it's a tricky situation because let's say Capen does score with, you know, 3 minutes left. Whatever amount of time, excuse me, whatever
Sorry,
amount
the first
of time
week back
left.
here.
Yeah. East like we're saying, have a lot of energy. They can move the game quickly, and so it's something Sharks is just going to have to think about in strategy here.
And that Amari Elias carry is good for about 3 yards, brings Capon up to the 40 for 2nd and 7. And now here's Capon. 2 wide receivers on this near sideline, 1 on the far, is now Amari Elias gets the handoff.
Omari Elias on the carry.
Now, that carry is only good for about 0. Thought potentially that could have been good for 1 yard, but still going to be 3rd and 7 for Cape Mount Carmel.
Same formation here. 2 receivers out, 1 on the far end.
And now Hamilton, a little screen pass to Will Antio. Antio able to make 1 man miss, but is brought down quickly after that. And that's only going to give him about 3 yards.
And 4th down here, looks like Sharks will probably go for it again.
And now this is a little bit more of a courageous act here by Sharks. I'm fully behind him with it. I mean, you've got to be aggressive when you're down. But, I mean, he's on his own side of the field. And so, absolutely, I believe the right call here. But we'll see what happens. A lot more risk involved in this play as looks like Chrisman might be close. We'll see what the referees say.
Good job there by Chrisman, lunging forward.
And a gain of 4.
Nope. Oh, yes.
There it is, 1st down.
Looks like the side judge might have, I thought the side judge was,
Close one there, but great job executing there by Chrisman.
And now Amari Elias takes no time off and is going to be brought down the backfield after this handoff.
No gain. 2nd and 10 Crusaders.
Manuel on East's defense getting pretty hyped up there.
A loss of 1.
Now for 2nd and 11 at the Capon 46-yard line. Looks like Capon going to stick with that formation as Hamilton drops back, looks down the middle of the field, and there's the flag. Will Antio bumps there before he had a chance to catch the ball, and that's textbook pass interference. That'll bring the ball 15 yards forward.
I believe that's Rogers there, bumped Antio before he's able to get the ball.
And, Rogers standing there like, what did I do? I mean, he was great coverage, just bumped into him a little bit too early there. And if he would have made a play on the ball, I mean, that potentially might have been kept in the ref's pocket. But, he wasn't really turned, has back facing Antio there. And so.
Yeah, and it's hard for a guy like Rogers, obviously much smaller than big 6'6" Will Antio. It's really hard to cover.
Now on 1st and 10, Amari Elias once again gets the carry. And he will be once again brought down in the backfield. And, as we talked about coming into this game, East really, really trying to prevent the run here. If the 6'2" defense, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to run against. And now on the quarterback keeper, tossed back to Amari Elias. Amari Elias down the far sideline will be brought down at about the 16-yard line of East High.
Awesome play there by Capon. Not going to lie, that even had me tricked up. Definitely East defense thought Chrisman had the ball. Good little pitch there by Hamilton to Elias. And great play.
I mean, just absolute perfect execution there, the triple option. As Amari Elias gets forward for a 25-yard gain.
And, we haven't seen a lot of that in the past game, and I think this year, Capon really using all of their options, especially as teams are getting used to that running formation.
Now Elias bounces to the outside, tries to find some room, and will find nothing. Brought down in the backfield once again. That'll be a loss of 3.
Rogers and Stanifer there making a play on Elias.
Excuse me, I'm going to say a loss of 2 on the play. 2nd and 12 now for KMC. Still in the red zone. But, we talked about how it's hard for the Capon defensive line to get around the East offensive line. I mean, it's almost impossible for Amari Elias to get around the East defensive line here.
Yeah, you saw that. They were just tracking him down, pushing him towards that sideline. 3 guys on him. He had no hope to get through.
And I mean, we talked about earlier how sometimes if you have an agile lineman, you can make a 3-man, 4-man front feel like it's a 5-man front. Well, in this case, you're going up against a 6-man front to begin with. So it feels like almost a steel wall there for Amari Elias.
Yeah, really something different. Crusaders offense not used to seeing, and just one of those things that have to make adjustments. Teams know Capon wants to run the ball, give it to Amari Elias, and they're going to be coming up with things that'll try to prevent that. And so Capon looking for other opportunities like that pitch play Hamilton just had to make progress.
And I think we're going to see a lot more of those option type plays, whether it's a triple option or maybe even throwing a lot more play action in there. If you throw more play action in there, it might, make them protect the secondary a little bit more and maybe allow for some more openings. But regardless here, for the I formation, it goes off. Actually, no, never mind. Play action, and Will Ancio there on the touchdown. Dylan Hamilton to Will Ancio for the 19-yard touchdown pass.
Great job there by Ancio running that corner route, faking in, then getting to the inside of that end zone, the first, and great job, great execution.
Now, for the 2-point conversion, Dylan Hamilton, once again coming on the I formation, fakes the handoff, rolls out in trouble, finds what was supposed to be Will Thingvall. However, that's going to be incomplete. So the score is going to remain as it is, 14-16. And, Capon only taking around 4 minutes on that drive, still giving East plenty of time to come back and score before the half.
Yeah, East still with that 2-point lead. East ready to bring it in. You talked about fatigue coming in for East. I don't think that's going to set in yet. And also, they might have learned their lesson from last year, and the coaches know that, and they're conditioned this team to get ready. As we saw last week with East against Washburn, they fought till the end. High-scoring game, they lost 42-49. And so we know that East does have the capability of scoring a lot of points and continuing. And they're definitely looking to score again here on this drive.
And as we talk about, we're just going to keep talking about how East can really, we talked about how Capon, last year was faced with a 10-point deficit going into the half. East has a great opportunity to repeat that here, and that's, of course, something that Capon cannot allow for. Of course, coming back late in last year's game, but, you can't count on your offense to come back in that situation.
Exactly. The defense really needs to help the offense out here. In the past, with the Capon's teams, we've seen that a lot. The defense picking up the offense, creating big plays that give the offense opportunities to then go ahead and score. And so it's something just with this younger defensive team they're working on. And I know Coach Peabody's been working hard with them. But it's just going to take a few games to get adjusted, especially for the new defensive backs. And just they're seeing a lot of different things, especially from East offense. And so just making those adjustments will be critical throughout the rest of the game.
And now both teams heading onto the field now. Chase DuPont, of course, still going to be the kicker for Cape Mount Carmel.
Kicking for the Crusaders, Chase DuPont.
And now still going to be L.T. Robinson Jr. on the return for Cape Mount Carmel. Rival Leak in the opposite side of the end zone. Now kicker signals, and DuPont's kick is away. Now fielded about the 2-yard line. Here comes Robinson. Robinson finds a hole, shifts past another man, going to be brought down soon after that. About the 26-yard line for 1st and 10.
Good return there by Robinson. Able to get, better position than East has had the first 2 drives all the way up to the 25-yard line. And so they got 5 minutes and 16 seconds to score. We know they're a team full of energy. Don't really use the clock as much as the Crusaders do. And so we'll see how they're going to plan and execute this drive.
Of course, their last drive only lasting about 3 minutes and 45 seconds. So we'll see what East can do here. Mitchell, 2 receivers on either sideline. Of course, Red Velvet in the backfield with him. Screen pass to Robinson. Robinson able to find this near sideline and rides that to about the 34 before being brought out of bounds. Be second and short now. And instead, actually,
First down.
looks like that's going to be good enough for 10 yards and the first. Now the 36-yard line for first and 10.
And just great job there by Robinson, able to get the first down even off of a screen pass.
Now Mitchell, same formation. Surveys the field.
Got twins on both sides of the ball here.
Now gets set. Takes a high snap, gets to Robinson once again. Same screen pass, finds the sideline once again, stays in bounds. And takes it all the way down to the Capon side of the field. Can be brought down at the 37-yard line of Capon.
And really taking those defensive backs off guard there. You saw they started off a little farther back, not very tied up on Robinson there. And Robinson just using his great speed to get downfield.
And, you know, another key component of this East offense is that it is a textbook spread offense. I mean, their receivers are spread out so much that it's hard for a defense to play any kind of zone. And now Leak can be tied up after a game of about 6. But, you know, to go along with that, I mean, without, you know, being able to play a very effective zone, if one man gets beat, I mean, he's going to have a lot of green field ahead of him. Of course, Austin Howard stepping up on that LT Robinson play to make the tackle, but, you know, looking forward, Caven's going to have to find some way to keep their safety somewhat roaming in order to make those downfield tackles.
Exactly, and, you know, the East Aces here, all of them do a great job of reading the field and finding those gaps.
And now false start here for East High.
Just what Capon needs. And as we said, capitalize. Great opportunity for Capon's defense to try to get a stop here. Slow that momentum that East High has right now. Make a play.
And with no real kicker on the roster, East is really going broke or going big or going broke here, for lack of a better term. I mean, they have to score. They have to get into the end zone. Because, I mean, they have, you know, number 40, Porter Blaine, the kickoff specialist, but not really something they want to resort to. And now Mitchell.
And
Gonna be.
looks like Ashton White there. False started.
And that will once again push the East High Aces back another 5 yards. It'll be 2nd and 16 at the Capon 44-yard line.
And now, second down. The only thing East could be thinking is more time has run off the clock. So kind of to their advantage not to leave any time for Capon.
And we talked about how Capon doesn't, I mean, they do want to force the pass, but it's a dangerous proposition. And now Mitchell looks down the middle of the field, overthrown. Intended for LT Robinson Jr.
Bullet of a pass there by Mitchell, just a little long.
And now 3rd and 16. And of course, Sophia, I don't think the East High Aces are going to be too anxious to hand back the ball here. So they're not going to be looking for a big play to get all the 16 yards right here. I mean, I think, you know, potentially a rival league run here, if not just a short pass to set up 4th down.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to wait and see.
What's the flare?
Twins again on both sides.
And here we go. Mitchell drops back. Looks at his near sideline. Going to keep it for himself. Breaks one tackle and brought down soon after that. Still gets it back to the original marker for East. And so it'll be 3rd and 10.
Props to Mitchell again for just recognizing the field and
4th
being able to make some ground there.
Sorry, 4th and 9. Messed up my downs there. And Capon will take a timeout here. Really needing to capitalize on this opportunity. Stops the clock with 2:30 left. But also gives them a chance to regroup. And, you know, if you're Cape Mount Carmel. this is an opportunity to not only get the ball back and stop the clock, but also to keep yourself in striking distance. As we talked about earlier, they don't want to end up in the same position they did last year where they were down by 10 entering the halftime. They need to stay within scoring distance, and they have a great opportunity to do it here.
And, you know, if they get the stop here, they have decent field position. All they really need is to get, you know, past 50-yard line. We know Chase DuPont, amazing kicker. Haven't seen much field goals out of him yet, but if needed, he's able to make those long field goals for Capon. But first, Capon's defense needs to get a stop.
And here we go. East High taking the field once again for 4th and 9.
And Coach Akpan here definitely drawing up something good. I'm sure he's been in these situations before. Got some good plays, good formations for this type of situation.
And here we go. Deontay Mitchell going to be alone in the backfield this time. Trips that far sideline. 2 receivers on his near one. Capon looking like they're going to play man defense. And it looks like timeout signal for once again. East not liking what they saw there.
5 receivers, Gabe. They're really spreading it as much as they possibly can, trying to throw Capon's defense off.
And, you know, Capon still, with that limited linebacker set, might be, you know, opting to go to a dime here. I mean, of course, their true defensive formation is a nickel-back formation. But if I'm Capon, I see 5 wide receivers come out there. You've got to be at least considering putting an extra safety out there just to have some pass coverage support.
Yeah, and then, you know, but the risk there is that's a lot of, you know, players back, and then you never know what East is going to come up with. They could end up getting a short little pass or a run or something to get those 9 yards that they need for the first down.
Now, once again coming back for 4th and 9. Deontay Mitchell, still same formation. 3 wide receivers on the far sideline, 2 on the near. Takes it back, drops back, 5-step drop, is in trouble. Finds some space, he's going to keep it for himself. Nathan Fury there with the big hit.
Fury there saving Capon. Wow, great job by the linebacker, senior leader, stopping Mitchell.
Well short of the first down line. And, you know, Sophia, we talked about how Capon, you know, operating in that zone-type defense is struggling a lot with keeping sure, a little bit of technical difficulties behind us. But anyway, you know, making sure that, you know, when the one man gets beat, it's, you know, they're struggling with making sure they make that tackle downfield. And now we're going to get right into the offensive action as Dylan Hamilton keeps it for himself and will be wrapped up past the line of scrimmage. That'll be good for about 3, but the important thing to remember here is there is no 2-minute warning in high school football. So the clock's going to continue to roll.
And, you know, playing hurried offense here. Crusaders trying to giddy up and get downfield.
And now Henry Chrisman going to take that forward for a couple yards here. And Capon with 2 timeouts, not using either of them here. So, I mean, their mindset might just be heading to halftime down by 2. And now another I-formation play, hands it off to Amari Elias. And he's going to be brought down. No, he's not. Refusing to be brought down. Fights for it for the first down. And absolutely textbook running there. I mean, you always hear, you know, even in Pee Wee football, you know, talking about keeping your legs moving no matter what. Now there's a great execution there by Amari Elias to do just that. Now with 1:24 left to go in the half, here comes Cape Mount Carmel. Hamilton looking to pass. Finds Chrisman, but that's going to be incomplete over his head. And that will stop the clock at 1:18. 2nd and 10 at the Capon 47-yard line. And so, you know, realistically here, Sophia, Capon's looking to maybe get 25 to 30 more yards to be in field goal position. Trying to get to around a 25 to 30-yard line range. And, I mean, we've seen, you know, in JV games, I mean, Chase DuPont hit a 53-yard field goal to beat Northwest, of course, JV games, but still, nonetheless, he has the capability to hit those long-range field goals. And now muff snap, Hamilton just going to fall on it. That's the right play there.
Definitely not what the Crusaders wanted there. Something that does happen. So they really, not only a minute left, really just need to figure out what their strategy is going to be here.
But here we go. And you know, Sophia, if you're Cape Mount Carmel right now, you might just be looking to run out the clock. And a big part of that is keeping the clock rolling on this play. Now Hamilton throws downfield. That'll be nowhere.
And a flag.
And a flag going to be thrown.
Looks like that's going to be.
That'll be on number 23 for East. That is Cameron Davis. The junior, wide receiver turned cornerback.
And that's the break Capon needed right there.
Well, let's see what's going on here. As indeed, there we go. Referee starts to move the ball forward, and that will indeed put Capon in field goal range, but will also give them a new set of downs.
So now Capon.
It's a whole new ball game, still with those 2 timeouts.
Having that chance to even take a shot downfield from the touchdown.
Now with the clock stopped at 40 seconds, Hamilton's going to have 2 running backs to his right side. Takes a snap, rolls out, and will be brought down in the backfield. And still fighting, but it's still going to be brought down for about a loss of 2. Clock still rolling, and timeout can be taken by Cape Mount Carmel. And if you're Dylan Hamilton there, I mean, it's hard to throw the ball away. And, you know, you might be sitting at home watching that play and saying, throw the ball away, throw the ball away. But, you know, it's hard. I mean,
there is just.
no, excuse me. That would be Capon's final timeout of the half. With 30 seconds left. I must have had my timeouts wrong there. Sorry about that for you folks at home. But regardless, 30 seconds left to play. Clock stopped. And so with that being their final timeout, it's going to be a lot harder for a field goal. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but you're going to have to get a passing play, preferably downfield, successfully.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, get down the field, spike the ball with enough time left on the clock for a field goal.
So,
of course, yeah, I mean, you only need 1 second left, but, you know, enough time to get your player set and able to execute the snap and the spike.
And, you know, Capon not in this situation a lot of times. So something new for their team to offense in a game situation.
And now Hamilton drops back, chucks it up for Roy Ancio. He is intercepted. Intercepted by, looks like White.
Yeah, Marcus White, who's making big plays on the offensive end and defensive end here with that interception.
Hamilton's first interception of the year. With 23 seconds left to go, East is going to have what seems to be, I mean, they could take a shot at the end of the year. Don't get me wrong, but if I'm East High, I'm going to take that momentum into the locker room. I mean, you just got an interception to, you know, smother Capon's hopes of getting ahead before the half. I think, you know, maybe a run play. That's about it. I wouldn't risk, you know, an interception or a fumble downfield.
And now we got trips on this near side.
Nice little screen pass to LT Robinson. Robinson able to break some tackles. He has one man to beat. And now Maxwell Keller, or no, excuse me, Nathan Fury able to force him out of bounds.
So that's 3 times this half that Robinson on that nice little screen play, gaining major yardage downfield, but he did step out of bounds, and now there's 12 seconds left in the half.
Let's see where the referees place it. You know, as we're talking about, I mean, that's almost your ideal play there. I mean, it's a nice little screen pass, so, I mean, worst case scenario, you get tackled in the backfield. You know, high probability of completion. Oh, Capon catching a lucky break here as East going to be called for holding. And now it'll be first and 4 for East High. Kind of an unusual down and distance, but regardless,
And, you know, at this point, Gabe, with 12 seconds left, like you said earlier, probably just run the ball. Who knows, though? They've been making some gutty plays and trying to, you know, look to score downfield or get momentum downfield. So let's see what they do here.
Now Mitchell has three wide receivers on that far sideline, sorry. And once again, L.T. Robinson has more than enough room to make something happen. And Maxwell Keller able to bring him down rather early here. And now be out of bounds.
Good job there by Robinson getting out of bounds, stopping the clock. Now 6 seconds remaining.
And with just 6 seconds left, I mean, this could be a scenario where, preferably, in my opinion, you head into the locker room with some momentum. But if you want to be aggressive, personally, I think Mitchell has the capability, maybe get to the end zone, if not, get somewhere close to it. So we'll see what they do here. And Mitchell, indeed, is going to be going to look for the pass, but he's going to be deflected at the line of scrimmage. That does leave him with 3 seconds still.
Yeah, good look there. There's going to be a slant there. Potentially could have been really big for the Aces, but now Mitchell with another opportunity. Only 3 seconds, like you said, left.
And at the East High 44-yard line, they'll have 56 yards to go to the end zone. Let's see if they can get it here on this final play of the half. Now Mitchell takes a snap. Hands off to Ray Valik, who finds enough room to make something happen. And now Dominic Shibley going to bring him down now in the half. Nice little run there.
Carry, tackle for the Crusaders, Dominic Shibley. And that is halftime.
And at the half, the score is 16-14. And now, Sophia, if you're Cape and Mount Carmel, not the ideal scenario you want to be in. But that being said, not something terrible either. I mean, we talked about how they were able to come back last year down 10 at the half. A lot more manageable down 2 here. So
yeah, we've seen Cape End down in the past, especially last year against Northwest. Major comeback in the fourth quarter. Only down by 2 right now, so they have opportunity. They'll have the ball, opportunity to score, make some momentum, make some progress. So we're looking to see that for the Crusaders.
We're looking forward to see that and more. During the halftime show, we'll have the Pommies perform along with the cheerleaders, and of course, we'll see the KMC alumni from past football championships be recognized. Now, from Gabe Breinbach,
and Sophia Jamino,
we'll see you in the second half. Hello and welcome back to Cape Mount Carmel football. And, of course, Cape down by 2 entering the half, but don't be discouraged. Cape, of course, coming back from 10 down at the half last year against these. And I don't see them having any struggles here in the second half. That being said, defense really going to have to step it up here.
Yeah, there's been 4 plays now where Robinson or White, one of them gets a screen pass and makes a ton of yardage down the field. And so Cape's defensive backs are going to need to be able to find a way to stop that and get the tackle.
And a big part of that is going to be stopping Deontay Mitchell. I mean, of course, you can't stop him, so to speak, but you can definitely contain him. I mean, the quarterback has been phenomenal here in the game so far. Really is keeping poise and control, even when, he's being hit. I mean, we saw him, being dragged down by Sam Bezic, a defensive tackle, and still, keeping his shoulders straight, making sure to turn when he needs to throw. I mean, he's just been phenomenal in this game. And if Cape Mount Carmel wants any chance, pull out the win here tonight, they're going to have to contain him.
Yeah, now on the offensive end for Cape, as you said, we're going to get the ball back starting this half. They really need to make sure they get downfield, score, keep playing their game, honestly, just using the clock to their advantage. That Sharks' style, and just getting down the field.
And, talking about the offense, one of the biggest things for them is going to be limiting their own mistakes. I mean, we've seen them, numerous false starts, one holding penalty, I believe. Could be wrong on that. But that being said, mistakes, regardless if they're penalties or interceptions, as we saw Dylan Hamilton throw in the final minute of the first half. So little, week 1 struggles. Yeah, we're on.
Just a little bit of a cough here.
Speaking of which, I want to take a second here to thank our great new advisor, Will Hebert. He's phenomenal. He's right behind there. You can't see him, but just wanted to say thanks.
Shout out to Aquafina. I don't think I
No,
can do
actually,
that.
no. We're not sponsored by Aquafina. Can't say that. Anyway, back to football. Sorry, a little bit of a tangent there. Back to football. Both sides of Sophia's really struggling here. Man. Take a second here to check on Sophia. We'll be right back. And we're back. Sorry, Sophia had a little bit of a coughing fit there.
A bit of a coughing fit there. My apologies. I don't know. Something went down the wrong too. We're good now.
Just wanted to make
We're
sure
back.
she was okay. But yeah, regardless, we are back after all the excitement of the first half, both of the first half and of the halftime show we put on. But regardless, we will head back out here. Of course, Capen will be receiving the ball to start the second half of play. And, of course, first play of the game. Capen loses Charlie Chrisman, who is the return man for Cape Mount Carmel. So once again, we'll see Jackson Daniels be the primary return man with Noah Schreck
It looks like Amari.
Now Amari
out
Elias. Something you don't typically see as your starting running back fielding kicks for you, but, I mean, he's going to be more than a dangerous threat out there if he gets some open field. So we'll see what happens here. Of course, Porter Blanton going to be the kickoff specialist for East High.
And turned out to be a beautiful night here. Wind down, heat. It's definitely cooler now, and great night for football.
Speaking of great football, here we go. Porter Blanton kick high in the air, fielded by Jackson Daniels. Jackson Daniels finds some room, slips past his own blocker, and now has some real room. Goes down that near sideline, eventually brought down right at about the 38-yard line. And, you know, after the Noah Shrek return and now this one, Caven special teams, you know, looking really good out here in the home opener.
Yeah, just great execution so far. Just trying to get upfield, get as much yardage as they possibly can. Is really crucial to help the offense out.
First and 10 Crusaders at the 38.
Now here we go. Caven coming out, start second half in the I formation. Dylan Hamilton hands off to Mario Elias and flag to start off the third quarter.
Flag on the play.
False start.
False start on Caven Mount Carmel.
Offense.
And not a great way to start this half. Down by 2. Wanting to lead with momentum, you know, penalty there kind of kills that from that good start by Jackson Daniel.
And now for first and 15 at the Caven 33-yard line. Caven going to stick with a similar formation. 2 receivers on that far sideline. And now Dylan Hamilton drops back. Has Will Ancio over the middle. That's caught. Well fought for by Will Ancio, and he brings it down right at the 50-yard line. And now Will Ancio.
Great execution. Looked like the ball came a little, not super cleanly by Hamilton there, but still able to get it to him. You know, not the cleanest spiral, and that's all right, but Ancio's still being able to grab onto that ball.
And, you know, a great play by Ancio there, especially because, you know, in the first half when we saw that interception thrown by Hamilton, you know, I'm not going to blame it on Ancio, but part of the reason for that is that the East defender was able to get in front of him. And Ancio, you know, I'm not criticizing him at all. I mean, it's hard to criticize a D1 recruit as Mario Elias takes up the middle for a gain of about 6 for being brought down. But, you know, Ancio, you know, didn't come to the ball as well on that play. And so, you know, this is one of the greatest things about Ancio's game is that he learns. I mean, both, you know, from his coaches, but also from, you know, on-field experience. I mean, that play is a perfect example, you know, ball thrown not very well, kind of short. He did a great job, you know, seeing that, coming back to the ball, going up for it, and bringing it back down. And, again, not at all criticizing him on the field. But, you know, I just want to, you know, compliment him on the fact that he, you know, took an experience that he had in the first half, saw where he could correct himself, and did so on that play. And now Hamilton hands it off to Chrisman, Henry Chrisman that is, and he dives
And Henry Chrisman
for
really,
an extra couple yards. He gets to about the 37. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. We've seen from Henry Chrisman is just head down mentality, just bulldozing through the defense, and just does a great job of like kind of leaping forward at the end of the play when he knows he's going to go down to get those few extra yards.
And now here we go at the 35-yard line for first and 10. Caven comes out once again in the I formation. Dylan Hamilton checks his receivers, takes a snap, and now Mario Elias finds some room at the middle. Splits 2 defenders, spins, and wow. You know, even to the very last second, that ball was still alive, and Mario Elias lunging forward for some extra yardage. Now at the 12-yard line for first and 10, here comes Caven Mount Carmel, really worrying here to start off the second half.
Elias pumped up about that run, and as he should be, great effort by him, and just really wanting to help the team out. That's one of those plays that really gets that momentum going for the Crusaders.
And, you know, something about Mario Elias is that he really feeds off the energy from his teammates, especially from the sideline. And, you know, something to keep in mind as Mario Elias takes a carry for about 2 yards before being brought down. But something to keep in mind is, you know, as I'm talking about how Mario Elias, you know, gets his energy from his sideline, the sideline gets a lot of its energy from the student section. So, you know, it all kind of trickles down. So, you know, even if you're a student, I mean, you can have a real on-field impact.
Yeah, I agree. And it plays, it's hard for the other team, too, playing in this atmosphere, this loud atmosphere with such great support for the Crusaders.
And Henry Chrisman able to burrow through there. And, you know,
Henry Chrisman, of course, great there on that 8-10-yard touchdown. But, you know, something I kind of want to highlight on that play, Dylan Hamilton has done a phenomenal job this year of, you know, really hiding the fact when he hands off the ball. So, you know, when he hands off the ball, you kind of see him almost hunch over, kind of acting as though he still has the ball. I mean, you might see as that as, you know, kind of a subtle, almost incidental thing. But, you know, he's doing that purposely, and he's doing it to perfect execution.
And that is what makes a great quarterback, someone who executes when they have the ball in their hand and when they don't have the ball in their hand. And just great job there by Hamilton trying to throw off the defense.
And now referee stops the action here. I didn't see a flag thrown. But we'll see what
Not really sure what the call is there.
But regardless, here's this 2-point conversion attempt. And it looks like Hamilton kept it. Let's see if he gets in the end zone. And the referee is going to call him down before he got in. And, you know, I know, Sophia, you know, in modern football, a lot of times, especially when it's the quarterback, the referee, you know, call the play dead prior to, you know, when he's actually down, when he's actually on the ground. But, you know, on plays like that, if you're Hamilton, I mean, you really want him to give you as much time as possible to get in that end zone. So, I mean, I get why, you know, the referee stopped it early, but at the same time, I mean, if you're Dylan Hamilton, you got to be thinking, man, I really wish I had those extra couple seconds to really fight for those yards.
Yeah, regardless, though, Capon now up 20-16. Great job of scoring when they had this opportunity with the ball back at halftime. And now it's time for the defense to step it up. What we were talking about earlier is just how the defense needs to stop those short little plays that East has been running, those screens or those, you know, pitches, stuff like that, the runs. And that'll definitely help and take some pressure off of Capon's offense.
And, you know, biggest thing right now, Capon's ahead in the football game. You know, after coming into the second half down by 2, they were able to get their offense in gear and get down to the field. And actually, pretty solid timing there. I mean, it only took them about 3 and change to get down the field and score a touchdown. But, yeah, as you said, biggest thing is, you know, now for the defense. You know, not the best showing for them so far in this game. But they're going to get a chance to redeem themselves here in the first drive of the second half as Chase DuPont will line up for the kickoff. The referee gives a signal, and now DuPont takes his steps. And, of course, L.T. Robinson and Rayville Lee going to be the return men for East High. And a little onside kick attempt here, and that will be recovered. That will be recovered by Cape Mount Carmel. And no, it will not be. Nearly recovered, and then fumbled again out of bounds. Sorry about that. Sorry to get your hopes up at home. But, yeah, that was a near successful onside kick attempt. But it looks like it got out of bounds.
And very rarely do you see an onside kick, you know, this early in the game. But Capon using the momentum, wanting to get the ball back, you know, definitely understandable.
And you know what you mean, to go off your point there, I mean, you don't see that very often, especially coming out, you know, 9 minutes left in the third quarter. And that's exactly what they wanted to play off of there. Now here we go with Deontay Mitchell for his first drive. Has 2 receivers on either sideline. And it's going to be yet another screen pass, this time to White, Marcus White. This time not as successful as the L.T. Robinson attempts in the first half, but nonetheless it'll be good for 6 yards. Sets up the East High Aces for 2nd and 4 at the 50-yard line.
And props to Robinson there. An astounding job blocking, getting Dominic Shibley to the outside edge, and gave White some room.
Now here's Deontay Mitchell, trips on that far sideline, and White all alone on this near sideline. Now here comes Week trying to get to the outside, can't find anything. Going to be stopped right at the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 1. Austin Howard there on the tackle. Still will be 3rd and 4 for the Aces. Now let's see what they do. Facing their first 3rd down of the second half. They did great in the first half converting. Only had 1 instance where they didn't convert on 3rd down. And Deontay Mitchell really trying to get him with that hard count. But he goes unsuccessful.
And now we got trips on that far sideline, and Marcus White here on this near sideline.
Flag going to be thrown, as that is looking like a false start. And it is.
51, offense.
And there's been a lot of false starts this game, Gabe. And something East didn't want there, just making it harder for them to get this first down, obviously, and kind of losing some momentum. Some miscommunication, it seems, on the Aces side.
And now here comes East again, 3rd and 9 now. You know, a lot less, you know, viable in 3rd and 4. So they're definitely going to be looking to pass here. And it looks like Capen's going to react to that, as we see Maxwell Keller and Nathan Tinkle drop back there. And now LT Robinson over the middle on the slant route, able to break one tackle, shifts out of another. And now with some open room, still fighting for extra yards, well past the first down marker. Eventually brought down by a committee of Capen defensive backs. And it looks like we have an injured Capen player on the field.
Looks like, I believe it's Max Keller there.
Gain of 16 on the play.
Got the medical staff going out to check on him.
And that's never something you want to see, especially in week 2 of the season.
Yeah, already now the second player for the Crusaders that's gone down.
But of course, we do know Charlie Christman earlier in the game, up walking about. You know, it's something with his, looks like his left shoulder. That being said, he looks pretty comfortable. Might have just been something, maybe a delocation or something like that, or dislocation.
Yeah, and I believe he's had troubles with his shoulder before in the past, so hopefully something he can, fix up.
It looks like Maxwell Keller gets up, grabbing his, right abdomen there. But he looks like he's going to be okay. He's able to walk on his own.
Yeah, possibly could be his left arm as it's in that bent position. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah,
oh, it is.
Pointing to
he
his
points
left
to his
shoulder.
But, regardless of that, our prayers go out with him, go out to Charlie Christman as well. I'm hoping him for, hoping it's nothing major, and hopefully he gets a speedy recovery and potentially gets back on that field. Because, mentioning that, Capen's now down to their 3rd string safety. That's, of course, Noah Schreck, number 21 on your screen. Now Leak can be tripped up at the line of scrimmage. Great play there by Angel Martinez. Or Angel Arriaga, sorry. My bad.
And Angel Arriaga, I know he played, I think, his freshman year.
And his sophomore.
Yeah, sophomore. Coming back for his senior year. He's a guy who works hard in the weight room. Really nice, funny guy. And so, great job for him to get that play.
And here goes Capen, shifting their defense a little bit to react to the 2 wide receivers on his near sideline and 1 on the far. But none of that is going to matter because looks like another flag thrown by the refs. Another false start, looks like, for East High School.
False start. 53. Offense.
Looks like it was actually a offsides by number 53 from East, Skylar Tapa.
I think that's his second penalty so far this game.
Not something you typically see, though, offensive offsides. But regardless, looks like East will be set up for a 2nd and 15. 2 wide receivers on his near line, 2 on the far, and Leak also motioned out wide. And great play there by Jake Beeler to deflect the pass, sets East up for 3rd and very long. It'll be 3rd and 15 at the Capen 44-yard line. Great play there by senior Jake Beeler.
Just what the team needed at this moment, as a senior, stepping up, showing that leadership by Beeler. Just, as you said, great execution.
A big thing there is, Mitchell has a great pocket presence. But, something to go along with that is if he's staying in one spot, it's a lot easier for those defensive backs, especially the safeties, to, read that a lot better and able to make plays like Jake Beeler just did there. In trouble. Great catch there by Leak. Or no. Yes. No.
No,
incomplete.
Jackson Daniel there, able to make a play on the ball.
It looked like he had knocked it out, but then
Yeah.
potentially caught by Leak. But regardless, incomplete is the ruling. And it'll be 4th and 15. And it'll be hard to imagine East is going to want to go for it. Indeed, it looks like the punt team is going to come out. Porter Blanton, still the kickoff specialist, also going to be the punter for Cape Mount Carmel.
And props
Or
to
for East High,
Cape's
sorry.
defense finally getting a great stop there. And just what they needed, building off of the offensive energy to make some good plays.
And it looks like Jackson Daniels and Nathan Thingvall are going to be back to return here. Kind of a line drive punt, fair catch, signaled for and caught at about the 15-yard line. Nathan Thingvall with the return man on that. And so now Capen comes out up by 4. Great opportunity here for them to really take this game by the horns and potentially get a statement score here.
Yeah, and Sharp's going to be able to use the clock really well and, slowly make their way downfield and hopefully score and extend that lead.
And now we see Trip Wright come in at the wide receiver position as Maxwell Cover still on the sideline nursing that shoulder injury. And now Hamilton hands off to Elias. Elias tries to shift, makes some room for himself where there's seemingly none, and he still is fighting forward. He refuses to go down.
Elias pumped up.
Amari Elias, when you're talking about this kid, it's hard not to talk about how, we talked about earlier, he keeps his feet moving, keeps his head down, leads with his shoulder pads. But, it really just comes down to the amount of heart this kid has. There is nothing on that football field that's going to stop him from getting down. Getting downfield, that is. It takes about 3 to 4 defenders to really bring him down. And so it's just an astounding performance by Amari Elias every single time he goes out on the field. And so it looks like this play not going to be as successful. Henry Crispin on the carry, and it's going to be a loss of 1. Still going to be 2nd and 11 at the 26-yard line. So not too bad for Cape Mount Carmel. We have an equipment timeout as it looks like the helmet of number 50 for East High School. That is, as I fumble through my papers, DJ Nagasa. DJ Nagasa. Looks like his helmet comes off, so he'll be stepping out for this play. Maybe a potential opportunity for Cape Mount Carmel. And 2 stiff arms by Amari Elias gets him forward for about a gain of 8.
Elias has every, tool in his bag. He's got the stiff arms, like you said. He keeps his feet constantly moving. He's a strong dude. In the weight room, moving weight really fast, quick. He's just an explosive guy. And, man, he knows exactly what to do.
And now for 3rd and 5. Cape will be at their own 32-yard line. Here comes Hamilton. Lined up as a man in the I formation. 1 receiver on either side. Hands off to Elias. Elias shifts back to the middle. And now, after the shift, gets back downfield. And there we go. First down and then some. Ball will be placed at the 41-yard line, 1st and 10.
It looks like now East's defensive line kind of struggling here. We saw in the first half did a great job of stopping Amari Elias and Henry Crispin. But now just having a little bit of trouble. And I think that's props to the offensive line of Capen creating good blocks and gaps for their running backs.
That being said, it might have jinxed us there a little bit there. But it looks like Amari Elias still going to get about a gain of 2 there on the carry. We talked about this in the first half. East is a great team, and a great team. They come out of the gates hot and ready. That being said, they do expend themselves. And, we talked about how, if Capen was able to limit East production in the first half, that they would be then able to really take control of the game in the second half, and they've done just that. As Amari Elias gets yet another carry, trying to reverse his field, and he does. Finds some space, bounces out to the outside, he has room! 1 man to beat, and he gets tackled. That being said, great play there by Amari Elias. Has the versatility to do whatever he wants out there, as we talked about, he being a power back, I mean, he was going to, take about 3 defensive linemen with him there on that near side of the field. But then, he said, why not go to the other side if there was no one over there? So, he bounces back to the outside, gets down that far sideline, and finds some space for, a very solid about 20, 25-yard carry. And, there'll be a timeout called here.
Elias. I don't think I've seen like a play like that where he just totally flips around and gets that much of a gain. Like, very incredible job.
Well, like I was saying earlier, I mean, like I said, what sets Amari Elias apart is his heart. I mean, he really is, one of those players that if he wants to, he can do anything he wants on the football field. He's the kind of player that, can take over a game and can be the, potential momentum shifter or key player. I mean, if he doesn't play well for Capon, I mean, it's going to be hard for them to win just because he's the heart and soul of this team. And, but on the other hand, if he does play well, it's hard for Capon to lose.
Exactly. And, the whole team is kind of behind Amari Elias. He averaged 195 yards per game last year. And just something we see from him is he doesn't get tired very often. It really was a long season last year. His first season where he got a lot of playing time. And just an incredible job by this guy. Constantly working hard and contributing for his team.
And now, Cape Mount Carmel coming back onto the field after East High's timeout. Once again, coming back to their bread and butter I formation. Hand off to Henry Chrisman. He dives forward, gets about 8 yards on the play. Maybe closer to 6. Or 5. There we go. 2nd and 5 now for Cape Mount Carmel. And something interesting we're going to see here is Trip Wright. For the first time really this season. When we saw him last year and last week during the South game, I mean, everyone on the roster got to play during the South game. But that being said, he has a real great arsenal that he's going to be able to use as Amari Elias, able to carry that forward for about a gain of 5.
Yeah, and Trip Wright, kind of filling out, getting his strong body there and, hitting the weight room really hard this summer, getting stronger and faster. I know he spent some time working with our old strength coach, Rashad Daniels. And so it's awesome for him to see, the field and, hopefully make some good plays for Capon as Max Keller was hurt.
And now a flag thrown before either team was able to line up. And so presumably someone said something that the ref overheard. That's the only thing I can think of. But we'll see what happens here. See what the white cap says. But presumably a personal foul.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 45.
Amari Elias called for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Replay second down.
I mean, Amari just such a polite and kind kid. I mean, I don't know what he could have said.
Who knows? Sometimes things get heated on the field, but Will Ancio, they're doing a good job trying to calm down, talk Elias through it, and Elias now he knows not to make a mistake again, but who knows what happened down there on the field.
But now that's a complete momentum shifter. As now it was third down. Now
Third down.
it is third down. Okay, I was going to say, I mean, Kevin might want to take this extra down, but regardless, that changes it completely. I mean, you go from a 3rd and 3 now to a 3rd and 18. So it's going to be a hard road here for Cape Mount Carmel. But as we talked about earlier with, East lacking kind of a kicking unit, it's going to be a lot more likely here. I mean, Capon does. As we previously mentioned with Chase DuPont, they have the capability to kick field goals, but that's not really in the picture right now. So regardless, they might just be looking here to get, 10, maybe 12 yards. I know that's a lot to ask for, but even 6 or 7 would be setting them up for better field position than what they're in right now. They even, 6, 7 yards puts them in reasonable field goal position. I mean, of course, talk about how
Number
Chase DuPont
45,
made a
number
53-yard
45,
field goal
play.
in
He has to sit. Different play.
the JV game last year. But regardless, Capon may be looking to, get some of the yardage back here and then potentially set them up for a 4th down conversion.
And now Noah Streck on the field, giving Amari Elias a little break here.
And now Hamilton finds Crispin. That's not going to be nearly enough as he's brought down right at the line of scrimmage for 4th and 18 at the East High 43-yard line. And so, well, actually, wait, what?
We'll see what's.
I think we're still a little confused on. There we go. As the downs marker now marks it as 4th down.
And it looks like Chase DuPont is coming onto the field.
As you should.
Yeah.
As he is the kicker. And now punter for Cape Mount Carmel. First punt of the season for Cape Mount Carmel. We'll see what they can do.
Back to punt for the Crusaders, Chase DuPont.
As now Peyton Gosh able to show off his long snapping skills. As this is a high punt into the end zone, fielded in the end zone, and that will be automatically ruled a touchback, as in high school football, the ball cannot be taken out of the end zone.
Great job there by DuPont.
48
First
yard
time
punt for the
Capon's
Crusaders.
punted this year.
Touchback.
And,
Football at the
DuPont
20.
obviously having big shoes to fill behind Isaac Schmitz, who's outstanding kicker for the Crusaders last year. But he's doing a great job.
And so now looking at East situation here. Down by 4, 1:39 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Deontay Mitchell trying to lead the East offense to a score here, potentially take back the lead. And now Mitchell hands it off to Leak. Leak finds some room and has a lot of open field. Breaks a couple tackles and hard hit there by Jackson Daniels, but comes at the end of a very long run. And Nathan Fury, the star middle linebacker for Capon, slow to get up.
Gain of 27 on the
Time
play.
out on the field.
And he is really in pain here.
Time out.
Yeah, it throws the helmet off. Not a good run for Capon so far today. 3rd injury now. We pray he's going to be okay. You hate to see a guy like Nathan Fury go down. Great leader for this team.
And really, we talk about Amari Elias being the heart and soul of the offense. Nathan Fury, heart and soul of the defense. I mean, he's played playoff varsity minutes since his sophomore year. And, he is the Capon defense almost at this point. And so, of course, our thoughts and prayers go out Fury and the rest of the injured players for Cape Mount Carmel. As Charlie Crispin, getting around pretty well down there. And haven't seen much of Max Keller.
Yeah, it looks like he has some ice on his shoulder too. Fury now up. Looks like he's limping a little bit.
Able to walk on his own, though. Potentially just, maybe a hard hit in the leg, contusion. Anything is possible. He's actually getting around pretty well on that sideline.
Yeah, he's just trying to walk it off. Looks like, something with the left leg.
Yeah, no, he's going back to watch the rest of the game. Wow, that's really impressive. And now Rayville Week able to fight for about 4 yards.
Yeah, good job there by Grady Klein, taking Leak down. And Klein here, he's a senior. Definitely getting more minutes this year. It's great to see those senior guys stepping up and filling those roles.
And here, Deontay Mitchell once again looks to take it in the gun. Has 3 on that far sideline, 1 on the near. Rayville Week on his side. Hands off to Week. Week fought down right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a gain of 1 on that play. And the ball will be placed right at the 50-yard line. And once again, Grady Klein going to get there on that tackle. 3rd and 7 for East High. And you got to think they're going to go for it once again here on 4th down. But, again, Capon got to have to, take care of these opportunities. And we see the defense backs drop back. And now, false start can be called here. Looks like it's going to be on Rayville Leak, who had been split out wide. Yep, on Rayville Leak, and that pushes them back to 3rd and 12. A lot different than 3rd and 7.
East really having some good opportunities here, but...
And Nathan Fury, after getting a hard hit, comes back onto the field. He's just stretching his quad out a little bit, but it looks like he's going to be good. That ends the 3rd quarter. Score 20-16. And with 3rd and 12 going to be what the East Aces come back to, you got to be thinking, if you're East High, I know we keep reiterating they're going to come back on 4th down. They don't have to get it all here. But this is a crucial moment. I mean, you give Caven back the ball here. They have the capability. I know in this game they've had a lot more fast-paced drives. But again, they still have that capability to take up 7-8 minutes out of a quarter, which you don't have to give up anymore. And so this drive becomes pivotal for the East High Aces.
Yeah, they really need to find a way, first to get the first down, obviously. But after that, look to score. As you said, they don't really have a kicker, so they need to get that touchdown. And that would put him again in the lead. And, East showing a lot of different plays. And Caven's defense has been doing a good job adjusting to that. But we're going to see what East High comes out with here. It could be any formations. We've seen quads, we've seen 5 receivers, trips, screen routes, anything like that. Capen's defense needs to be prepared for.
And Capen's student section really getting ready for this next play. As Capen looking to take advantage of this opportunity, really swing the momentum in their favor in the final quarter of play. And Capen really having some big games coming up here. This one, their first major opponent of the season, but they go on the road next week to Northwest in what might be, really a key game, or almost, something that's going to foretell what the rest of their season is going to look like.
I agree. In Northwest, last year Capen came back against them in the quarterfinals, and so Northwest really wanting that revenge next week.
And now trips to this near sideline. It looks like he's going to have 2 receivers on that far sideline as well. As Deontay Mitchell gets the hard count. That's Lewis Tralia. It's going to be called for encroachment.
Number 6, defense.
And now that, brings him right back to 3rd and 7. Deontay Mitchell has been trying that hard count all game long. Hasn't got a call. But there we go. Deontay Mitchell finally able to draw the Capen defense off sides. And now Deontay Mitchell all alone in the backfield. 3 on his near sideline, 2 on the far. Muffs the snap. Is going to pass it upfield. That's L.T. Robinson. Brought down by Noah Schreck. That's past the first down marker, though. So I'll have a new set of downs past the 50-yard line for in-game territory.
Great recognition by Deontay Mitchell. Even with the muffled snap, able to find Robinson, and then Robinson able to convert to that first down.
And, you often hear about, a lot of football players talking about in key moments, the game kind of slows down. Everything around them starts to slow down. It feels like Deontay Mitchell is always in that mindset. I mean, a muff snap is something that can offset a quarterback for multiple plays on end. Let alone how Deontay Mitchell is able to both gather it and make a key play downfield for the first down.
Yeah, and Mitchell, he's a junior, still an upperclassman, but still, usually you see those type of things from seniors who are really comfortable quarterbacks. But Mitchell already showing that comfortability and just being, able to make those plays.
And now 2nd and 7 at the Capen 37-yard line. Deontay Mitchell in the gun, takes a snap, looks to that far sideline, has Marcus White, and White can be brought down after a game about 5. Sets up East for another 3rd and short. And we talked about how East comes out in a lot of fast-paced offensive drives, and Capon is more the slow-paced team. We're almost seeing that script kind of flip here in the second half.
Oh, and it looks like drop pass there. But you're right, Gabe. Kind of slowing down. I think, as you mentioned, maybe getting a little tired, not having as much energy. You can't go. Any team cannot go full throttle the entire game. So they're taking their time, seeing, setting up the plays correctly, and just trying to execute.
And so here we go. 4th and 3, key play in tonight's game. And it looks like Capon Mount Carmel might have just given up the first down. Encroachment indeed going to be called. This time going to be called on Kyle Kea, the sophomore. And the penalty results in a first down at the Capon 29-yard line. And, maybe giving Deontay Mitchell a couple more calls here on that hard count. Because, early in the game, the refs were being pretty lenient on, what they were calling encroachment on and what they weren't. On that play, a lot of Capon fans, especially the student section, are not happy about that call. But regardless, the refs, calling what he sees. And, I think he made the right call there. Now Deontay Mitchell once again takes a snap. He's going to keep it for himself, gets to the outside, finds some room. Finds some more room after breaking a few tackles, eventually pushed out of bounds inside the Capon 10-yard line.
And similar to Amari Elias, Mitchell there just keeping his feet moving, finding the gaps, a really shifty quarterback, and, able to get within the 10-yard line? Yeah, 10-yard line, so.
Gain of 20 on the play, 1st and 10 AC.
And now here comes East for 1st and 10 at the 10. It looks like they're actually going to drop the 6. It'll be 1st and goal. Another muff snap. Mitchell once again collects it. This time, though, he's going to break some more tackles. And again, going to fight forward. I mean, he was able to shrug off a tackle from 6'6", 220-pound defensive end Will Ancio. And, I mean, I know he kind of made it look flawless there, but that's not something you can do every day.
Yeah, and, sometimes being smaller than the other guy can be an advantage because you could get under or something like that. So just honestly props to Deontay Mitchell for being able to escape that tackle.
And so here we go as Mitchell hands off to Week, and Week will fight forward. Won't quite get to the end zone, but he'll get close as it will now be 3rd and goal at about the 2. Now Kyle Kea coming back on. And Crusaders potentially looking to stack the box here.
Got twins on this near sideline.
As now Porter Blanton has ended the game at fullback, and again, Whiteville Wake gets the handoff, fights in the end zone. That's a touchdown for East High, and they go up 22-20. And East High, you've got to be thinking, wow, the 2-point conversion seems enticing. That's probably what they're going to go with. The PAT has to be the safer bet here. I mean, you go up 3, and potentially you're going to go up only by 2 here now with the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, with the field goal, the only chance Capon would have if they don't score a touchdown, obviously, is to tie the game.
That's what I'm saying here. I mean,
yeah.
If they don't get the 2-point conversion, a field goal wins it for Capon.
Well, looks like they are going for the 2 points.
And Deontay Mitchell going to try to get to the outside. Let's see if he gets there, and he does. That'll be a 2-point conversion, makes the score 20-24.
And Deontay Mitchell showing his speed there, running all the way lateral and then being able to get in just quicker than Capon's defense there.
Okay, now
Timeout.
here it comes.
On the field. Media. This is 90 seconds. Media.
Have a 90-second media timeout. Not something you see every day in high school football, but regardless, we'll take advantage of it and talk a little bit more about what's going on the field. So this is it right here. What you practice for all summer long, whether it's the 2-minute drill. And maybe, again, Capon has plenty of time. They're not saying they don't, and I'm not saying the East High maybe does. I mean, they will. They probably will get another touch of the football. But as we mentioned previously, Capen is going to take off a lot of time. So it's going to come down to how much time they take off and if they can punch it into the end zone, which the offense has shown they can. It's just going to be how fast they do it and if the defense can then, capitalize on the opportunity to get and secure the win.
Yeah, and it's really a balance here for Coach Sharts. Like you said, trying to chew down the clock, but at the end of the day, they need to score. Down by 4, you need a touchdown. And so obviously, if they get the opportunity to score, they're going to score, but then that leaves East potentially with another chance for them.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a question. I mean, you do need to score. I mean, and you need a touchdown. I mean, we keep talking about how a field goal is always an opportunity, a touchdown is what you need here. And it all starts with the kickoff from the foot of Porter Blanton, number 40 from East. Let's see what happens here. Gives a signal. And this kick will be up and away. High kick, fielded by Amari Elias. Fair caught at about the 12-yard line. And, maybe not ideally where you want to start the play or start your drive, but, more yardage equals more time Capen can drive off the clock.
So now student section over here getting pretty excited. These are the games, students live for. Close games, you like close games, obviously, and just having this opportunity for Capen to come down and score.
And Amari can turn those engines on, really. I mean, he was 0 to 60 there out of the backfield pretty fast. And now here we go. Dylan Hamilton throws across his body and finds Will Thingvall. Nice little reception there. Gets the first down and then some.
And Will Thingvall really stepping up last year as his brother Henry Thingvall went out with a collarbone injury. And just seeing him, he's really great receiver and great for Capen's team to have him as an option to throw to.
And now here we go as Capen went out first and 10 at their own 24-yard line. Coming out in the I formation. As now handoff goes to Chrisman. Chrisman fights forward with some help from his offensive line. And he'll be called down after about a gain of 4.
Henry Chrisman on the carry.
Actually, no, it'll be 2nd and 5 now for Capen Mount Carmel with 7:16 and running. And here's where that conditioning comes in, Sophia. We talked about how Capen doesn't really lose a lot of their energy as we get into these last quarters. And that all builds up after months of working in the offseason. Now Amari Elias fights forward for about a gain of 3. And that'll be 3rd and short for Capen Mount Carmel.
Yeah, and just it being early in the season, you're not sure how sharp that conditioning is, just because at the end of the year last year, they were really just conditioned, used to playing those long games. So just still getting used to playing, a full football game.
And Amari Elias going to plunge forward here, but it doesn't look like he's going to get the first. It'll be 3rd and even shorter, 3rd and about 2. Oh. It looks like referee's going to give Capen the first down. Great job there. I guess Amari must have got his arm out there and got some extra yardage, enough for the first down. So it'll be 1st and 10 at their own 44-yard line, and Crusaders are moving downfield. 6 minutes and change left to go in the game. Now handoff to Amari Elias once again. He cuts back to the middle. Spins out 1 tackle, gets brought down not long after that. Right at the 40-yard line, it'll be 2nd and 4 for the Capen Mount Carmel Crusaders. And, this is exactly what Capen wants. This is exactly what I think they're going to do for the rest of the drive even, is just, pound the football down the throats of the East High Aces.
Yeah, the strategy is working well as they're nearing the 50-yard line.
And now Henry Chrisman can be brought down at the line of scrimmage here.
Don't forget, teams, if you need a parent to pick you up at the end of the game.
And now just 5 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the game. For 3rd and 4, let's see what Capen does. I formation. Two receivers split out to his near sideline. Hamilton takes a snap, hands off to Elias. Elias takes the carry up to the 45-yard line. That's going to be enough for the first down. And so here we go, the Crusaders. Keep on marching downfield. First and 10 at 45.
And I love how the Crusaders are just taking their time. You know, they don't seem rushed ever. They're really relaxed. All the coaches are relaxed. That's what you like to see in a team at the end of the game. You don't want them frantic or anything like that.
Here comes Dylan Hamilton. Ends it off to Chrisman, who fights for about gain of 3 before being brought down.
Henry Chrisman on the carry. In on the tackle, Porter Blanton. Gain of 3.
Second and 7 now at the 48-yard line of Cape Mount Carmel. And as we talked about, already 4 minutes off the clock here on this drive. And Capen's not even halfway down the field. As Dylan Hamilton hands off to Mario Lyons once again. He bounces to the outside, tries to get some space. He has one. Shifts past another defender before being brought down by 2 more. Be a gain of about 3 on the play. Brings up 3rd and 4.
Yeah, really good stiff arm there by Elias. What could have been, you know, no yardage at all. He turned, just get a few yards upfield.
And now they need a 4 yards. They're going to split Will Ancio out wide.
And I know we say, you know, Capen's student section helps the Crusaders out, but East student section getting pretty loud over there across the field.
And now Dylan Hamilton hands off to Elias once again. Elias, able to plunge forward for about 15 yards. Huge play for the Crusaders. That pushes them all the way to the East High 38-yard line for 1st and 10. And, you know, as we're talking about the East High student section, I mean, we talked about this earlier in the pregame, but every game is an away game for the East High student section, so they're going to show out whenever they can. And now Hamilton hands off to Elias once again. Elias plunges forward for about 4 before being brought down. And we talked about earlier in the game as well how Elias has the ability. He's one of those players that has the ability to take over a football game when he is needed. And this is, if Capen's going to have anyone take over the game, it's going to have to be Amari Elias, and it's going to have to be right now. And now free plays. Now Ancio can't make the catch, but it's offsides regardless, so, you know, might as well chuck it downfield when you have the opportunity.
Yeah, there's the flag.
And now, let's see what the referee says, but assumably it was offsides. As on this near sideline, it looked like they had an offsides player. We'll see what happens.
Prior to the snap, encroachment.
Or encroachment.
Number 16 of the defense.
Same difference.
5-yard penalty.
So that
Brings
was
up 2nd and 2.
Two plays, second
Pete
down.
Ingram for the Blue Aces there on the encroachment call.
Cape will now have it 3-1 again, 2nd and 2. Score 24-20. Cape needing to score on this drive. Hands off to Amari Elias. Amari Elias, after being hit in the backfield, still makes it back to the line of scrimmage. Still going to be 3rd and short, though.
Elias on the carry for no gain.
Nearing the 2-minute mark, Crusaders still in a comfortable position with the time and, you know, position on the field.
And it's actually going to be a loss of 1 on the play. See what happens here. Hamilton looks to throw. Has Ancio. Ancio makes a diving catch. Secures it, and that'll be good enough for the first down. Great play there by the tight end. And we talk about how Elias delivers when his team needs the most. But, you know, Ancio, again, you can't forget about the D1 commit. Does a great job, the senior, coming up in the clutch. And now Amari Elias gets a handoff, carries it for about a gain of 5. And now Crusaders really turning it up here. Minute 45 left to go in the football game. 2nd and 4. Whistle's going to be blown.
Looks like
And
Shine Jones is down for the Blue Aces. And yeah, and a timeout.
yeah, I think he was trying to make it off the field, but as soon as the timeout got called, he decided it would be best if he just kind of sat there.
So a minute 39
Come on.
left. And Cape Bend needing to score here, down by 4. And East, it's really a tough situation for East when the Crusaders are this close to the goal line. Very difficult to get a stop, but also just gives Cape Bend, the opportunity, amazing opportunity to score and just keep, I think they're just going to keep handing the ball off, slowly make their way to the goal line.
And Cape Bend with all 3 timeouts are going to be able to do that. But a big part of this game is, football at its core is a very complex thing. But at its core, it can be very simplistic at times. Like in this scenario, each team has one goal and one goal only. East, the only thing they can do here is stop Cape Bend. If they let Cape Bend score, they're going to get maybe 30 seconds to make something happen. So their goal is pretty simplistic. And for Cape Bend, down by 4, can't get a field goal. It's the same deal. They need a touchdown. They need that 6 points. And so we'll see what happens here. But regardless, Weston Charts going to have some time here to meet with his players before sending them back out.
And what a great game to start, or for the home opener for the Crusaders. Close game, great for the crowd, really gets everyone involved in the game, and both teams really just put in on a show, enjoyable to watch.
And now coming out in the I formation, we'll have 2 wide receivers on the far sideline. Hamilton still looking at the ref to get the signal. Now he approaches the line of scrimmage. And the biggest thing is can't afford any mistakes. And now Hamilton has Will Thingville in the end zone. Picked off in the end zone. And that will be.
Let's see what the call is.
Well, East thinks they had the interception. Now, Will Thingville thinks he caught the football. Refs discussing. But this could be the game-ending play right here. The refs deciding the game in this huddle. Wichita East with the interception. That will all but decide this football game. And that was in the end zone, so it'll be brought out to the 20-yard line for 1st and 10. And I was just getting ready to say how that was the one thing that Cape Bend really needed to make sure not to, cause any mistakes. But, regardless, there's not much hope, win the football game. But this is a key experience for Cape Bend. Yeah, they're going to take the loss. But
they will learn. They will learn and, make adjustments for in the future. And they're lucky it's early in the season where nothing is really on the line. And so it'll just be a good learning experience game for them.
And now Rayville Leak going to have plenty of room to make something happen. He has one man to beat. He's going to make it all the way down the sideline. And he's brought down all the way after being almost untouched. Gets finally brought down at about the 18-yard line of Cape Mount Carmel. And now East might just be looking to punch it in and really make a capitalized statement here. I don't know what to say. If you're Cape Mount Carmel, I know the game's pretty much over, but you can't give up. And so I don't think they're trying to here. I think, maybe it's caught them off guard, but really keep your head down and keep your head in the game here.
Yeah, it's important to finish the game, no matter, what the situation is. Always got to finish till the last whistle.
And now Deontay Mitchell winding down the clock as much as possible. Takes a snap, ends off to Rayville Leak, and he breaks forward. And that's going to be another touchdown for Wichita East.
And Leak putting on a show tonight, doing a great job, finding gaps, getting downfield, and touchdown by him.
80 yards on that play in about 30 seconds, and all of it was Rayville Leak. And if you're Cape Mount Carmel, you really you just got to keep your head up, and you got to head out of this football stadium knowing that it's week 2. It's not.
Exactly.
It's not. Semifinal of the playoffs, and so it's just week 2. It's just another loss on the season as Deontay Mitchell will be brought down. Won't get the 2-point conversion. Great play there by sophomore Kyle Kea. And flag's going to be thrown.
Referee Mitchell on the carry. Brought down by Kyle Kia.
I don't know what the flag could be. Potential holding, but that would just be declined by Capon. But yeah, here we go.
Yeah, we'll see here what the refs are discussing.
But regardless, this will be a big statement win for Wichita East after taking that loss week 1 to Washburn Rural. But you know, again, maybe just a heat check for Cape Mount Carmel, only with the 1 loss last season coming to Carroll. But losses aren't the end of the world at the end of the day. So here we go.
After the play,
Whitecap.
unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 3, Cape Mount Carmel.
And now Dominic Shibley, number 3, going to be called for unsportsmanlike conduct. And it's going to be applied to the kickoff. Again, I don't know what he could have said. I mean, again, Dominic Shibley, another great example of a kind-hearted kid. But, you know, must have said something that the ref overheard. But regardless, it looks like East will now be kicking off from the Capon 45-yard line. So this is almost surely just going to be a touchback.
Yeah.
Here we go. Porter Blanton, the kickoff for Wichita East. Presumably for the last time here tonight. Now it's going to be well into the end zone out of the back. And now we brought out to the 20-yard line. And big win here for Wichita East. Big win.
And they learned from last year, you know. They were ahead at halftime, just like this situation. Last year, they remained scoreless in the fourth quarter. But, you know, this season they made sure to execute. And so good job by the Aces.
And now Will Ancio not done yet. And he'll take a reception for about 12 yards. Gets out of bounds. Still 29 seconds left to play here in the football game.
Gain of 13 on the play. 1st and 10.
And a very exciting home opener for Cape Mount Carmel. Looks like Hamilton will take the final snaps. Tries to get something to happen. Looks for Will Ancio. Once again, catches it. Sorry. This time for about 13. Maybe even 15. Now Dylan Hamilton hurt. Slow to get up.
Injury.
And holding his leg. And we talked about how a lot of crucial losses here for the Crusaders, but this would be maybe the toughest of all.
And sad to see, you know, at the end of the game, you know, on the last drive, Capon obviously not able to win this game. And so sad to see Hamilton go out.
But regardless, I mean, the biggest thing, again, for Cape Mount Carmel is just to keep their heads high. Season's definitely not over, not even close.
Yeah, they should use this game to, you know, they'll learn from a lot of mistakes. They're going to clean up the penalties, and it should motivate them to do better in the next games. And, you know, both offense and defense have things they need to work on.
But to go along with that, I mean, you spin that around for Wichita East, I mean, monumental win. I mean, we can't stress that enough, especially after the devastating loss. I mean, only lost by 7 to Washburn Rural, and that was a late fourth quarter touchdown. And so, big win for Wichita East. And we'll see Jackson Daniels take the final snaps here for Cape Mount Carmel. As he looks downfield, tries to find Will Ancio once again, but that's going to be incomplete. Now with 19 seconds left to play in the football game. And Capon still looking to make something happen as Daniels will take it in the shotgun. Low snap. Maybe look downfield. Intercepted by L.T. Robinson. He will be down. And yet another interception. 3rd on the night for Cape Mount Carmel. Great play there by the safety, L.T. Robinson. But yeah, again, not anything monumental here, as East really solidified their win with that interception in the end zone at about that 1:45 mark. Yeah, we've seen the football change hands roughly 3-4 times now within this final 2 minutes, but regardless, I think here we might just see Deontay Mitchell take a knee, or who knows, maybe we see something special from the East High offense.
Yeah, East really making another statement there with that interception by Robinson. But yeah, it looks like he's just taking a knee.
Takes a knee to end the game. And so final score here is going to be 30-20. Wichita East going to come away with the win. And again, Capen moves to 1-1 on the season, but season's not over nonetheless. So we're going to be back here in 3 weeks, back at the home stadium. Next week, Capen will be on the road at Northwest, and then the week after that, they'll be traveling to Colby, Kansas, take on Westminster, the high school from Colorado that Capen will be playing. Now, synopsis of the game, Capen, really kept with it. Really had a chance to, go ahead in that, last 2 minutes. But, forced turnovers, or unforced turnovers, or whatever you want to call it. Capen just, came up short in this game. It happens to every team, and, after 2 seasons of going, 9-1 or 8-1 or something around that ballpark, you're going to expect Capen, have some losses here and there. Even Alabama, one of the prestigious college football programs, loses every once in a while. So, nothing to be too sad about. Capen will be back on the road next week. Hopefully get a statement win against Northwest. And regardless of that, great day to be a Capen Crusader nonetheless. So
yeah, just a little bump in the road, and I know the Crusaders going to go back to work, tomorrow morning, hitting the weight room hard, getting back in there, and just be ready for them the next few weeks. They got a little bit of fire in their belly, and so I'd watch out.
But regardless of all that, I do want to highlight, there still were players with great games. Amario Ayas, gave his heart out on that field and had some really just astounding plays out there. Dylan Hamilton had a great game as well. He had the 2 interceptions. You can pick and choose wherever you want to, but overall he did a great job as team signal caller, and Will Angio really, stepped up as the team's main offensive senior, and overall great game for the Crusaders, just came up a little short. But regardless, we'll see you in about 3 weeks. I'm Gabriel Breidenbach.
And I'm Sophie Jamino. Have a great night.